Hello students, welcome to mathematics class. Students, this is part 4 of the chapter data handling. In this part 4, we will be learning a bar graph and reading a bar graph or interpretation of a bar graph. Later, we will solve questions of the exercise 9.3. Now, coming to the bar graph, representing data by pictograph is not only time consuming, but also sometimes difficult. So, let us see some other alternative way of drawing or representing data pictograph, instead of pictograph. A bar graph, also called as a bar diagram, which means representing data using bars of uniform width. Uniform means equal width. Drawn either horizontally or vertically with equal spacing between them. This is a definition. A bar graph is a representation of data using the bars of equal width drawn either horizontally or vertically with equal spacing between them. The length of each bar in this bar graph represents corresponding number. Now, let us see with examples reading of a bar graph. Let us take the example of vehicular traffic at a busy road crossing in Delhi, which was studied by a traffic police on a particular day. The number of vehicles passing through the crossing every hour from 6 am to 12 noon is shown in the bar graph. Here is the bar graph. In this bar graph, 1 unit of length stands for 100 vehicles, which we call it as scale. So, the scale is 1 unit of length equal to 100 vehicles. Normally, that scale is written like this: 1 unit length is equal to 100 vehicles. Children, in the bar graph, we will draw two number lines, one horizontally, another vertically. We call them horizontal axis, vertical axis. So, we have horizontal axis and vertical axis. Now, here you could see bars along the horizontal axis. We call this graph as horizontal bar graph, where bars are parallel to the horizontal axis. Now, we can see here in this bar graph, the maximum traffic is from 7 to 8, where by seeing that longest bar, that is 1200 vehicles. Similarly, the minimum traffic is shown by the smallest bar from 6 to 7 am with 100 number of vehicles passing. the bar just longer than the smallest bar is at 11 to 12 am, 12 noon, 11 am to 12 noon, where you could observe some more interpretations from this bar graph. The total traffic during 2 peak hours, that is from 8 to 10, as shown by the two different bars put together, 1000 and 900 vehicles crossing, 1900 vehicles are crossing during that peak hours 8 to 10. If the numbers in the data large, if the numbers are very large, then you may not with this scale draw comfortably the bar graph. So, we shall look for some example to such large data. You may need a different scale. For that we will be studying with example. Here, for example, take the case of growth of the population India. The numbers are in crores. So, if you take 1 unit length to be 1 person, you cannot draw the bar graph. Therefore, choosing the scale as 1 unit length as 10 crores is convenient, and you could see in this bar graph from 1951 till 2001, growth of population in terms of crores drawn, and this bar graph is called vertical bar graph because bars are parallel to the vertical axis. So, this vertical bar graph you might have seen many a times when you are watching cricket. This is how score in each over is shown, whereas there may not be a gap between them in that graph, but that is a different graph with some other name we will be calling, and you will be learning it in your class 8th. So, this is called vertical bar graph, where bars are parallel to the vertical axis and unit length here considered as 10 crores. The bar graph here will be helpful to interpret so many things. Now, here length of the bar, if it is 5 units, it shows the population as 50 crores. If the length is 8 units, then it represents 80 crores. Now, children, let us take one more example and solve the question based on the reading of a bar graph. See, here I am taking example number 9. Read the adjoining bar graph showing the number of students in a particular class of a school. Here is the graph. So, number of students in a particular class of a school, you could observe in 2000, 30 in 2001, 40 in 2002, 50, and in 2003, 30 students are there in that particular class. Now, answer the following questions. Question number 1. What is the scale of this graph? Obviously, scale of this graph is 10 students. How many new students are added every year? You could observe here in 2000 30 students were there, whereas when it comes to 2001 40 students, in 2002 50 students, in 2003 60 students are there. That means every year 10 students are getting added. And is the number of students in the year 2003 twice that in the year 2000? Yes, obviously 60 is double of 30. So, that is why yes. So, these are the solutions. The scale is 1 unit length equals 10 students, and how many new students are added every year is 10 students, and is the number of students in the year 2003 twice that in the year 2000? Yes. So, this is how we read the graph and answer the following questions. So, which we call it as interpretation. Reading the bar graph and answering the questions will be called interpretation of a graph. Now, based on this, we will go for exercise 9.3. In exercise 9.3, the bar graph given alongside shows the amount of wheat purchased by government during the year 1998 to 2002. Read the bar graph and write down your observations. In which year was the wheat production maximum, and sub question 2, the wheat production minimum. If you see here, unit is considered as 5000 tons, whereas this is a vertical bar graph. So, you could observe longest bar in the year 2002. So, in the year 2002 maximum production was done, or maximum wheat production was purchased by the government. Now, children, what was the maximum? This is 30 units, which is nothing but 30 into, or I say 30,000 tons. Here you could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units are taken on vertical axis. So, it is in thousands. We have already got wheat written here. 30,000 tons was purchased, and the wheat production minimum is in the year 1998, whereas 15,000 tons. So, solutions will be in 2002 production of wheat was maximum, and in 1998 production of wheat was minimum, and how much also I said. Then coming to the question number 2. In question number 2, observe this bar graph which is showing the sale of shirts in a ready-made shop from Monday to Saturday. This is the graph. Here 1 unit length is considered as 5 shirts. So, this is called scale. So, scale of this graph is 1 unit length equals to 5 shirts, and here you could see bars being parallel to the horizontal axis. So, this graph is called horizontal bar graph. So, we have on Saturday being maximum number of shirts sold, on Tuesday being minimum number of shirts being sold, where now we have to answer the following questions. First question is, what information does the bar graph give? See children, very simple, in the question itself is there bar graph showing, the bar graph is showing the sale of shirts in a ready-made shop from Monday to Saturday. That is what it is showing. So, you can write same by picking from the question, same sentence. Next, what is the scale chosen? Scale chosen here 1 unit equals to 5 shirts. Then on which day were the maximum number of shirts sold and how many shirts were sold? Here on Saturday maximum number of shirts were sold, and you could see that it is 60 shirts were sold, and minimum number of shirts sold, on which day were the minimum number of shirts sold is Tuesday, and 10 were sold. And how many shirts were sold on Thursday? On Thursday you could see 35 shirts were sold. Now coming to the next question, or I have written all these questions with a proper answer. You can note down like this by passing the screen. Now question number 3. Observe this bar graph which shows the marks obtained by Ajij in half yearly examination in different subjects. Here is the bar graph. Here you could see 1 unit length is equals to 10 marks, and here bars are parallel to the vertical axis. So, this is a vertical bar graph. In this vertical bar graph, what are your interpretations? First one, maximum marks scored by Ajij in Hindi, that is 80 marks he has scored, and minimum marks are scored by Ajij in social studies. Somewhere he got 40 marks. Then coming to the rest of the subjects, you can say 60 marks scored by him in English, 70 marks are scored by him in mathematics, and 50 marks he has got in science. Now we shall answer the questions based on this data that we read. Answer the given questions. Question number 1. What information does the bar graph give? Very good, very simple. From the question itself we can say this bar graph shows the marks obtained by Ajij in half yearly in different subjects. By picking up straight away this sentence, we can write answer to the sub question A. Sub question B. Name the subject in which Ajij scored maximum marks. You know, in Hindi he has scored maximum marks. Then coming to the question number C, name the subject in which he has scored minimum marks. So, he has scored minimum marks in social studies. Then state a name of the subjects and marks obtained in each of them. So, you have to say in Hindi 80 marks, in English 60 marks, in mathematics 70 marks, science 50 marks, and social science or social studies 40 marks. So, by seeing longest bar graph we can say, longest bar we can say maximum marks scored in Hindi, and small shortest bar will tell us minimum marks are scored in social studies. So, this is how we interpret bar graphs. So, with this I have completed exercise 9.3. So, in our next class we will learn how to draw bar graphs and solve the exercise questions of 9.4. Till then, take care of yourself. Jai Hind. Thank you.